Always make sure the message reach them.
Live from Kingston, Jamaica, broadcasting around the world. You're watching the Teach Dem YouTube show. Intellectual, yet stimulating. Fair, frank, and factual. This is Extra Class, streaming to the world and beyond.
You know, it's Teach Them, the #1 intellectual blogging panel on the YouTube channel.
Good night, peeps. Let me know if you're seeing me clearly. Let me know if you're hearing me clearly. If you're seeing and hearing me clearly, welcome to another episode of Extra Class, episode number 228. For all the people who are in the hearing of my voice and seeing my face, I trust that you, your family, your friends are doing well. You guys are surviving this COVID situation because it's rough. For the people who are up on the road or up and go home, for the people who are there, them yard. Ready for listen to teach about some things we have to jam down. Jam rock, Jamaica land we love. Land of food and water, Bammal, Usain Bolt, Vice Kartel, Bujubant and Shelly and Fraser Price, Lane Thompson, Shelly and Fraser. Some only people. Peeps, good night. We're there. Situation continues, I suppose. No change at Jamaica, yes, it's same one. I suppose. Man, I even know, man. It is just the thing rough. Yes, that the thing sad. Another week has come and gone. More lives have been lost. More COVID constraints. More people suffering, more people struggling to find food, more people just fighting to exist. You understand? It's just the way all the things set right now. More COVID-19 containment measures were announced like since week, and as I say, if I know one thing I next. You understand? So I could talk about a few things still because we can only talk, we can't really control everything. You understand? We only can control our situation, and you know what I mean? But read the COVID numbers for the past 24 hours, well, for Thursday anyways, there were 735 new COVID-19 cases with 17 more fatalities recorded. So the Ministry of Health says the fatalities occurred between August 17 and 31. Give me a moment. Let me do something here. Just one moment. Just one moment in time. Just... Right, so them something there. George Kitchen, blessings family. DJ D1, Manners, Delan, Delian, blessings, Duval, Zane, Miss Bro Camp, good night, Top Max, Empress Shirley, Empress Joan Gray, Black Mamba, all of the people in the building, Rico J, you see me? Things that are weird. So you know, those who have died, you have a 79-year-old, well, this is the St. James, a 79-year-old male from St. James. His death was previously under investigation. A 76-year-old male who was also previously under investigation. 69-year-old male. 25-year-old female. 25-year-old female. An 83-year-old male. A 50-year-old male. A 64-year-old male. 45-year-old male. A 78-year-old woman. A 71-year-old woman. That's for St. James. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 from St. James. St. Catherine, a 67-year-old female and a 51-year-old female. That's 2. Hey, Queen Steph, how are you? For St. Thomas, you understand? 75-year-old woman, a 65-year-old woman. Hanover, a 65-year-old male. Kingston and St. Andrew, there was a 53-year-old woman. Portland, 31-year-old woman. And 4 more deaths are under investigation, moving that tally to 173. Meanwhile, there were 735 new cases, as I said earlier, ranging from 12 days old to 93 years old, pushing the total number of confirmed cases on the island to recorded on the island to 69,789, with 19,187 being active. So almost 20,000 active cases on record. I would dare suggest that there are probably about 5 to 10,000 more active out there that are not on record. Of the new cases, 379 are women and 338 are men. The female numbers continue to outpace the males. I am not certain why that. Well, I suppose there are more females within the population, so possibly that is why. Yeah, some will eat more stores, but that is the situation. 735 new cases, 17 deaths, and those deaths were for Thursday. We haven't gotten the figures for today as yet. We'll get those tomorrow, I suspect. So it continues. As a matter of fact, somebody who I went to college with passed yesterday. But I'll talk about that in a few. As per the containment measures, our attempt to reduce or contain the current spike, the third wave, the Prime Minister, during a press conference on Wednesday evening, I think, announced 6 more no movement days. So with COVID-19 hospitalizations, deaths and infections continuing to climb since August, Prime Minister Andrew Holness has again tightened the COVID-19 measures, including adding 6 no movement days to curtail the surge in the virus. Yeah? Empress Cheryl, thanks for the contribution. Really and truly appreciate it. So speaking at a digital press conference on Wednesday, Holness said the new measures will include 6 no movement days, meaning curfews will span the entire day. The days on which a 24-hour curfew will become effective are this Sunday, September 5th, Monday, September 6th, and Tuesday, September 7th. Then again, the following Sunday, so this is now next week Sunday, September 12th, Monday the 13th, and Tuesday, September 14th. And people will be required to stay home on those days. In relation to the other nightly curfew, outside of the non-movement days, for Wednesday to Friday, these will run from 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. On Saturdays, the curfew will start at 6 p.m. And other measures are currently being reviewed by the Prime Minister, I suppose, by the Prime Minister. So, yeah. Just sharing some information, yeah? I mean, what to do amidst the curfew. Those are the situation, those are the new, the continuation of the measures. We would have, some people I get up in arms. When I say would have, people get upset. We went through 2 previous no movement blocks, and the Prime Minister, and in the wisdom of him and the cabinet, feels that 2 more blocks of no movement days will help to treat with the current situation. Many people are still not of the view that they actually help. Some people are actually of the view that they help to worsen the situation, seeing that during the movement days, the traffic is bumper to bumper, supermarkets are crowded, tax offices are full. So it depends on how you look at it, yes, sir. But it is what it is. We just have to just go and fight it. Amidst that, many people, and this is, I normally come back to this, my heart goes out to my Jamaican brothers and sisters who are struggling who have been struggling during the best of times to put food on their family tables. And with these lockdown days, because as I said, you have people out here who, if they don't work today in the day, they can't eat tonight. You understand? So it's rough. Many people are suffering from anxiety, stress. Some people are suffering, or let me put it this way, some people are not in the best place mentally these days, whilst some people have been, despite the situation, riding the waves and finding some solace in their family and friends and their ability to survive. Many among us are struggling psychologically, emotionally, financially. Some of the all is. It's rough. I saw a video, and I don't know if it is COVID related per se, but I saw a video in circulation of a young mother, I suspect, hanging herself. The reports are suggesting, I haven't seen anything in conventional media, mainstream media, but I've seen some social media posts that says that, she has been having a rough time financially. Her child's father may have abandoned her, and she felt that the best way out was to take her own life. Studies have shown that the attempts at suicide and the actual execution of these attempts in many instances have increased throughout the pandemic. And I fear for many of my brothers and sisters who have been walking along the ledge for a long time now. Zane, the person who contributed just now, appreciated, blessings. Zane, Gaza Screech, I deal with you. So yeah, it rough, peeps. It rough. I can also imagine the psyche of many of our children who were looking forward to going back out to school this week, and that has to be stopped in its tracks. Many of them are just tired of being home. They just want to breathe, and that's not possible presently. So parents continue to, reason with their youths them, Zane, and try to express to them the situation in the most understandable format possible, because it rough, Rasta. The learning loss over the past 18 months has been astronomical, and I am afraid that it will get even worse. Because the situation presently, it's depressing, to say the least. And I am not depressed for myself, because, as I said, I may be able to, trudge through the jungle a little bit better than some. I am depressed for the kids out there who are going to their bed tonight with very little to eat, and in some instances nothing, and will probably waking up to eat the same thing tomorrow morning. To the mothers and fathers who have been laid off, or whose place of employment has been shut down. It's rough, and there's no end in sight. Yeah? And irrespective of who you're going to blame for the situation, who you're going to point finger upon, at this point in time, that is kind of inconsequential. The situation is what it is. We just have to hope for the best for those who have been struggling for years and their level of struggle has increased exponentially since the onset of the coronavirus. You understand? So pointing fingers no one, it's neither here nor there really. What is about make a few sacrifices for try come out of this with the fewest casualties possible. When I say casualties, I don't mean just people who die from complications of COVID, but people who are dying mentally and financially and emotionally. You have people out here dying that way too far. You understand? It's not a physical death as in you stop breathing, but people are out here dying financially and psychologically and them things dirty tough rasta. Speaking about that, let me take this opportunity again to express my sincere appreciation for our frontline workers, or doctors, or nurses, or nurse aides, all the people who have been at the tables, at the bedsides of COVID-19 patients, who have been risking their own lives and the lives of their family members to try and to stabilize these things. I really and truly appreciate the sacrifice, the courage, the selflessness in these unprecedented times. So all the nurses out there, all the doctors, all the police officers, all the military personnel, all social workers, everybody who is involved in trying to fight this thing, teach them appreciate the one them. You understand? I probably need to do something for a few nurses. And we see it because it's rough. You understand? So rough that currently we have over 80 nurses who are now in quarantine, says the Nurses Association of Jamaica. Yeah? So the Nurses Association of Jamaica is reporting that over 80 nurses are now in quarantine after being exposed to COVID-19. NAJ President Patsy Edwards Henry says the nurses are from St. Mary, St. Anne, Mandeville, and St. Andrew. Dillian, thanks for the contribution, broski. Zane, the president says nurses are also complaining about the shortage of personal protective equipment. Calls from the nurses come days after a registered nurse died at the Cornwall Regional Hospital. I know I had pictures of that nurse. Let me see if I can show you. So this lovely lady is one of the frontline workers who we have lost in recent days. She was employed at the Cornwall Regional Hospital, and there were 35 from St. Anne's Bay, 15 from the University of the West Indies. There were 8 at the Mandeville Regional, Maypen had 8, Anata Bay had 2. And when we added, we got close to 80, and we hadn't spoken to all the hospital, said the NAJ president. So the nurses, we were short before. We are now further depleted, and it just seems as if there is no end, Henry lamented. Can you imagine? Additionally, she said nurses are again complaining about the shortage of personal protective equipment, PPE, while carrying out duties at hospitals. Yeah? Yeah? The public health sector is reeling from the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, which has claimed 1,549 lives. So registered nurse, Deagria Davis Cunningham, who was working out of the Savannah Lamar Public General Hospital, died on Monday night. She was a supervisor for the nurses in the accident and emergency department. She died at the Cornwall Regional Hospital, as I said earlier. In August, Registered nurse at the Percy Junior Hospital, Annette White Best, also died from COVID-19 complications. And I also saw where another employee, I think at the Savannah Lamar General Hospital, died from complications related to COVID-19. I think today, a male. I don't remember his name off the top of my head. But the thing rough rasta. Zane, over 80 nurses are currently in quarantine. So that is 80 plus nurses that have been removed from the front lines. The front lines that have been breaking for a while now, that is understaffed at the best of times, and we now have over 80 nurses possibly being exposed to COVID-19. I trust that all nurses who are in quarantine will test negative, and if unfortunately there are positive cases, the recovery will be speedy and full. There has been calls from the opposition People's National Party for the resignation of Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton. The opposition People's National Party is calling for Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton to resign or be removed from the post. In a media release Thursday afternoon, the PNP said Dr. Tufton has repeatedly failed in his handling of the COVID-19 pandemic. It says 18 months into the pandemic, the country is still without a proper COVID-19 management plan. The PNP says the recent oxygen shortage is the latest demonstration that Dr. Tufton and the government are failing to exercise the duty of care owed to Jamaicans and healthcare workers. Noting that more than 1,500 Jamaicans have died from COVID-19 since March last year, the PNP argues that many of these deaths could have been prevented had the government put in place proper measures to lower the number of cases and enhance the healthcare infrastructure. The opposition says Dr. Tufton must be held accountable. That is my life story right now, in and out of work quarantine due to exposure. Just continue to be careful, lady. What I know, I don't know. I can just imagine how challenging the situation that you're treating with is. Just continue to fight it and continue to be vigilant. Yeah. So, one, Dr. Tufton won't resign. I am practically certain of that. And two, I am also almost certain that he will not be removed as health minister. I would be very surprised. It is the PNP's right to, state their views and express their opinions on the situation. What I would appreciate from the People's National Party, though, is, some solid recommendations, politics aside, that can help and be used on a national level to help treat with the situation. You see me? I would respect and appreciate that. So, I guess I don't have nothing else to say about that right now. And to say that I would not want to be Dr. Christopher Tufton or Andrew Holness at this moment in time. Whichever way you look at it and whatever job you think they are doing, whether you think they are doing a creditable job or a poor job or them not do nothing at all, I am certainly not envious of either of them and their position presently. And because it can't be easy. You understand? I suppose what is catching the Prime Minister too is he's trying to appease many different sectors at once, and he's trying to balance certain things when balance may not be the best thing right now. I saw something where he said that he is not infallible, and he, along with the government, will make mistakes, and they're trying to work and thing. I suspect that the time has come where some hard decisions will have to be made, irrespective of how powerful private sector interests will view it and see it. I also suspect that in treating with the COVID situation, the Prime Minister is probably a little bit wary of his political capital being reduced. But now is not the time, in my opinion, if I was an advisor to the Prime Minister, to be thinking about political capital. Now is the time to think about Jamaica and Jamaicans. Now is the time to be devising programs and policies and measures to stabilize, contain and reduce. You understand? And may the chips fall where they may. And the chips will fall where they may, I suppose. That would be my suggestion to the government, seeing that they are the ones in power now and they are treating with the situation. So I suppose that the balancing act is causing a lot of problems. And as I've said before, the truth is, whatever the Prime Minister and the government do, some people will be okay with it while others will not be. No matter what it is. If there were no curfew, people would be clamoring saying that we need curfew to stem the spread of the virus. Zine? If curfews are to be tightened, people are going to say, yo, the Prime Minister has stifled we and they need to free we up and them something there. You understand? If we now have no movement there, people are going to say that the best way to deal with it. If we have no movement there, people are say, yo, a foolishness. Zane, if schools remain closed, people are say, yo, school for open. And if school open, some people are going to say, yo, it is not wise to open schools right now. So, it is just rough. Balance, I understand the thought behind trying to strike some balance, but sometimes you have to just deal with the thing, or if you deal with and then move on from this. So I don't know. But heavy is the head that wear the crown, I suppose. Yeah. So that is what the People's National Party is saying. I came across an article that I found to be very, very interesting, I suppose. Respect, bro. What a reason to come more in our live stream, you know. Hope all is well. Bless. $2 million to admit COVID patient. Let me keep the Prime Minister and the Health Minister on screen now. And I like me have no picture for this. See? I think he should resign because he's not an MD. So that's a huge downfall. Okay, may I hear King Irie, but then the chief medical officer is an MD, and I am certain through consultation with the technocrats and the medical personnel, Dr. Tufton would be so advised. I don't know, being a medical doctor now would make a significant difference in anyways, but that's one way of looking at it. Okay. Listen to this, peeps. A private health facility in Western Jamaica requires a deposit of $2 million for each COVID-19 patient being admitted. The facility, which had no space to admit patients yesterday, said that in addition to the deposit, persons may face additional charges depending on the length of stay and the course of treatment administered. Early last month, Jessica Wright paid $2 million for her 87-year-old COVID-stricken mother to be admitted. She said the horror stories about public hospitals prompted her to seek treatment at a private facility. However, she was not prepared for the cost. When me hear the price, it's like me turn fool because me know say all I will put together in the room don't have so much money. So me just tell the lady thanks and tell her me will get back to her, right said. She said that her mother was the most precious person in her life and the lives of her siblings, and so they pooled their funds. We took her mother to the hospital the following day and we paid the cash, and she was admitted. The following morning, we went back to the facility to check on her mother and was told that we would again have to come up with more money to pay for medication for her. But now I tell no lie. At that time, me really shocked, right said. At that time, me turned to the lady and said, then I want the $2 million for. And she said, I have a deposit upon her admittance, she said. She added, broke, hurting but determined to fight to keep her mother alive, Wright and their siblings left to search for funds to pay for her medication. My mother had a gem of her life, and if we have to walk naked, we will try to save her life, she said. Wright eventually managed to borrow some funds, but when they returned the next day, her mother had died. All of us went in shock, she said. Although we knew that the COVID-19 was deadly, we thought $2 million would at least allow her to live a little longer. A similar story has been told by the relative of a Westmoreland family whose patriarch spent $4 million for 2 persons to be admitted at the facility. Both died and their deposits were also considered to be expenditures. Wow. The name of the facility was not mentioned in the article, so I don't know. Based on these testimonies, though, it would appear that the success rate at the facility is not great, I would say, but yeah, $6 million, 3 patients, 3 dead. Wow. And that is deposit for admittance. Wow. I am okay, Empress Winsome. How are you? It's been a minute and all as well. How much US is that? 2 mil? That would be about 14,000, 15,000 US. There about. Based on where the dollar is now. I could be wrong though. I am tempted to do some deeper research on. Nah man, it's not 20k needs because the dollar is about between 145 and 150 on average. So it is less than the 20. It's about 14, 15,000, about 15 mash. The most. I don't know the name of the facility, but I can't digest you telling me that to admit my sick mother is $2 million. Charlene said the dollar 154. I don't really think it's so high, still about 151 mash. Run it out to probably about 152. Jaja. But yeah, still on the COVID streets. This look like that's all the streets that exist these days. No movement days hurting back road sex workers. Picture you not really back road still. But is you understand? I don't know, it end up in a thing, but because I use it. You see me? Girl there cut her thing like. A woman takes a shower start naked in a motel parking lot on Port Henderson Road, more commonly known as Back Road in Portmore, St. Catherine. You can't see that picture then either. Still in the nude, she welcomes reporter with a smile. For her and the other sex workers, the no movement days implemented by the government to contain the spread of COVID-19 have been cramping their style. You know, we probably need to do a piece. Probably need to circle back road come to think of it, you know. More police not pass and see me and scrape me up, you know, because they have that dirty habit there, you know. You understand? I probably need to follow a race with some of the ladies then run a back road side there. So I go on, because, you know, it's dirty tough. So for her and the other sex workers, the no movement days implemented by the government to contain the spread of COVID-19 have been cramping their hustle. The clients, them busy because them have to use a little time what them have or what them get to take care of them business and tend to them family. A lot of them now want to stay in, but them not have any choice, she said. The woman who occupies small rooms at the motels along Back Road pay $1,500 daily for rental, and this has put a dent in her pockets. On the days them where you can move, the time limited bad. Right now, I just going to try work a thing to buy some groceries that can last me until the place open back, one of the women said. Another woman said that if the government gave them grants to attend school or start businesses, she would leave the street. A lot of times we cry tears when we have to go out there because it's a life and death situation. Enough time we sit and comfort each other when we realize a time to go road, because going out there is like a heavy burden. But we have mouths to feed, she said. It's 6 children me have, and them father dead. My father dead earlier this year, so we have to help take care of my mother and brothers too. Enough time it come in like a piece of burden come down on me, but me have to do what me have to do. Another sex worker admitted that they sometimes venture out on the no movement days to see if we can hustle. But it dry bad. Nothing now go on. And when we see police a pass, we have to take what we self, she said. Another woman who washes for the sex workers said the new measures force her to find other ways to make ends meet. Thank God me can clean house and do here and them things there. The lockdown and mash up all the way, she said. Blessings Empress Robinson, how are you? Georgia. Lady on screen was my batchmate at Teachers College. She did guidance and counseling while I did geography and social studies. But she was my friend. A wonderful, wonderful person. And she was older than many of us. So, you know, we kind of have her as a big sister, a mother type figure. We knew her as Arlene Gooden. She later married as Wellington. She has died. She was actually the president-elect of the Guidance Counseling Association of Jamaica. Jaja. The education fraternity is in deep grief following Thursday's passing of Arlene Wellington, the president-elect of the Jamaica Association of Guidance Counselors in Education. Wellington was also the guidance counselor at the Port Antonio Primary School in Portland. She is reported to have fallen ill sometime between Wednesday and Thursday. Wellington joined the staff at the Port Antonio Primary in 2015. She was the kind of person who went beyond the call of duty to get things done, a colleague said. She was a true leader and was very determined to get the job done, irrespective of the challenges and the shortage of resources. She tends to put her situation on the back burner just to help and guarantee success. Sis, oh, go on. Yeah, so a very good friend of mine, especially when we were in college, very wonderful lady, as I said, big woman, so, you know, naturally we showed her great respect, and she was always, you know, smiling and easygoing and very soft-spoken. Yeah. Yeah, man, I'm a batchmate, man. Yep. Oh, me never tell you. Yeah, me don't know. Guess me don't know. Me never know so yesterday story either. So, yeah, man, a good all in that, man. We keeping secrets, so. Scotty, leave me alone here, man, and go on. Let me take this opportunity to express my sincere condolences to Arlene's family, colleagues, friends, kids, husband, Jaja. You need a good G, man. A general in the street, man. I tell you from college days, a G, man. You see me? Arlene's word to me most of the time is to leave the people, them girl, pit them alone. Then I wasn't really troubling them neither still, but she was of that view. You understand? So many conversations between Arlene and I was, you know, well, she was telling me to leave the people, them girl picking. I wasn't troubling them. You understand? The girls, them was my friend in college. You see me? What good, sis? Thing rough. Jaja. Sure you did that trouble. No. Yeah, me and the girls, me just did good with the girls and the girls them be good with me. Understand? Most of the girls them friend. You see me? Ah boy. James, what go on you? Another aspect of the COVID situation that is you're having embers popping up all over the place and it has been smoldering is the discussion around companies mandating employees to be vaccinated or else. And those discussions are getting louder and louder, and many people are now starting to fear that their employers are contemplating, are on the verge of suggesting that they ought to be vaccinated or else. Interesting article. Listen to this. No law forbidding mandatory COVID vaccination in workforce, says the Jamaica Bar Association. Let me read that again so there is nothing lost in translation. No law forbidding mandatory if you would prefer COVID vaccinations in workforce. Employers are not legally forbidden from enforcing mandatory vaccination for workers, Jamaican Bar Association President Alexander Williams has said. Williams noted that no court or any other authority has made any ruling against the issue. His comment is the latest in a heated debate amid concerns about the coronavirus outbreak, which has killed over 1,550 people so far. There is also no law or ruling that says that dismissing a worker for being unvaccinated constitutes discrimination or would not be justifiable in the context of a global pandemic, he said in a statement. People want to listen what I go on about us, you know. See? Williams said that the Bar Association was concerned about remarks made by the Ministry of Labour and Social Security official in COVID-19 vaccination. So Gillian Corodos, Divisional Director of Industrial Relations and Allied Services at the Ministry, was quoted in the Jamaica Observer saying that the country has no laws that support mandatory vaccination of workers against COVID-19. It further alluded that sanctioning mandatory vaccination may be a contravention of Convention 111 of the International Labour Organization, ILO, which addresses discrimination. But Williams contended that the ILO Convention related to freedom from discrimination based on gender, race, place, origin, social class, color, religion, or political opinions, which are already prohibited under Jamaica's Charter of Fundamental Rights and Freedoms. So it is not the ILO Convention, but rather our Constitution that we all, including the government, will be required to follow, he said in a statement. The question is not simply whether there are laws that support mandatory vaccination, but whether there is a law that prohibits it. Presently, there is no law that expressly neither prohibits mandatory vaccination against COVID-19 by an employee, nor has there been a ruling to that effect by a court or other competent authority. However, given the uncertainty, Williams is recommending that the government make a public statement on its position, supported by legal advice. In August, Prime Minister Andrew Holness indicated that the government has no plans to make COVID-19 vaccinations mandatory. However, the police and army have, in effect, imposed vaccine mandates by withdrawing training opportunities or enlistment based on compliance. Blessings, Andrew Spence. So I go on, fam. Give thanks, man. Appreciate it. He's saying it is the same thing here in the US, teach. Your employer can tell you to get vaccine or else. Even your landlord, no, put it in your lease if they choose. Wow. Yes, so I go on youth, man. Yes, Rasta. So, what the president of the Bar Association is saying is that a company, if they so choose and so see fit to tell you that you have to be vaccinated, there's no law that prohibits them from doing so. And he, in the same vein, is urging the government to state their position publicly as advised by probably the Attorney General. Jaja, put an angel over me. Keep strong. They want to do it in Barbados. Well, a firm meditation. One day, things must get better. Don't you go down. Keep your head above the water. One day, things must get better. Be strong. Well, a firm meditation. Oh, I see a thing to do with a George Wright, you know, member of parliament down at West there. He and his partner were tested positive for COVID, but he has since recovered and has gone home. I mean, some people have said George Wright been a beating, so them knowing him they gonna beat COVID. Jack Mandora, me not choose none, but just I telling you how me see it. You understand? Or Touche say you're free to not get vaccinated, but might just have to find a job that does not require it. I wonder how the history books will reflect these times. These are unprecedented times. As that poem in the world of poetry says, these are the dark times, my love. Yes, Rasta Judge. No vaccine, no flying. I spoke about the situation that is developing in the United States, where if you intend to apply for permanent residency as of October 1st, you must be vaccinated. There's also word emerging that in order to apply for a United States visa, you may have to be vaccinated. I don't want to speak on that one as yet still, because we never correct, Miss Jarrett. Zane, no vaccine to movement. No vaccine, no movement coming soon. Yes, Rasta Judge. No, many people are still unclear. Many parents and students are still unclear as to the situation surrounding school. Some people are still not sure if face-to-face classes are on. Let me, based on the information that I have, say that all teaching and learning exchanges are supposed to be in the virtual space, online, for the next few weeks. And as such, the Minister of Education reiterates face-to-face learning is on hold. Good night, teacher. My loyal. Blessings in the family. Education Minister Favour Williams yesterday reiterated that schools will not be able to hold face-to-face classes at the start of the new academic year scheduled for next week, even as the government pushes its COVID-19 vaccination program for students 12 years and older. I am not certain why people need to be told that no face-to-face class can't keep right, you know. Like, common sense is so common these days still. As best as we can see into the future, what we are seeing is that we cannot begin school in the face-to-face mode. We have to remain in the online mode, the remote mode. As we go forward, we will get greater clarity, Williams said. I am trying not to read this in the minister's tone. You understand? Yeah. Williams said, adding that the Ministry of Health and Wellness will provide clear projections as it continues to monitor the COVID-19 situation daily. Williams was speaking at a virtual town hall meeting on vaccination for students, during which she and a panel of officials from the Education and Health Ministries faced a deluge of questions from parents. She noted that secondary school students could return to the classroom before the end of this year, depending on directives from the Ministry of Education. We have a wish. My wish, my wish. We have a hope. We would love to see face-to-face for our secondary school students starting in mid-October. But again, we have to be guided as we go along and as we get new information. As the ministry develops its projections, we will know, she said. Minister Williams stressed that the situation at the primary level is more complex, as no vaccines are available at this time for children below age 12. When we are able to bring the children in our primary and early childhood sector back to face-to-face mode, we will do so, she said. Williams also told the parents that while students 12 years and older who are vaccinated against COVID-19 will be prioritized for face-to-face learning, when it becomes possible, no child will be denied access to education. The government announced last week that secondary school students will only return to face-to-face classes when their school attain a 65% or higher vaccination rate. We will not be denying student education. We will be providing education on a number of different platforms, online, television and radio, and learning kits that we will be using until we are able to add face-to-face modality. At that time, as well, we will be prioritizing those students that are vaccinated. So we are asking parents to really consider the environment in which you are living. Based on the information we are seeing, millions of people are taking the vaccines. And we see the comparisons between the vaccinated and unvaccinated and what is happening in our hospitals, she said. Williams also pointed out that the COVID-19 vaccine is not mandatory for anyone at this time. She said that under normal circumstances, there would be no distinction made between when primary and secondary schools resume. But the novel coronavirus pandemic has forced this distinction. Some parents remain adamant that they will not consent to their children taking the COVID-19 vaccine. Last evening, some remarked during the forum that the ministry had changed its motto to "Every child must learn" once they are vaccinated. That's funny. While others demanded answers regarding the way forward for students who opt not to take the vaccine. The health ministry, long story short, and then something. Some parents not taking the vaccine, so they now make them take the vaccine. So they know that's something they go. You understand? We don't know that thing they go. So, but I know what I go on. Maglina go on, Dan. Our leaders are weak 1 year later and still no plan for our kids. And now Jamaica go fully done. Okay. My cousin is even planning to remove the kids from school. It's tough. Cha-cha. Amidst the current wave of COVID-19 cases, the third wave, the current spike that we are in, many have pointed fingers at Mocha Fest, at Rick's Cafe, and the Dream Weekend for the dilemma out west. And organizer of the Dream Weekend, well, one of the organizers, Kamal Banke, is saying, no way, Jose. Dream did not cause COVID nightmare, said Banky. A title of bad. Dream did not cause COVID nightmare. Organizer says parties had high vax testing bar. Critics of the widely popular Dream Weekend Party series have received flack from one of its chief organizers, who has charged that coronavirus data do not validate claims that the event was central to the summer infection spike. Only 8 would-be patrons reportedly tested positive for a Dream, which was hosted from August 5 to 9. None of them were granted access, said organizers. Kamal Banky, chairman of Dream Entertainment, has disputed blame cast at the Negril parties by healthcare officials and public commentators, saying the event was staged with the input of state authorities. Now, referencing certification from the Jamaica Constabulary Force, the Hanover Municipal Corporation, the Jamaica Fire Brigade, and the Western Regional Health Authority, Banky defended the reputation of the Jamboree as safe and incident-free. No one was allowed to enter any venue without a COVID-19 negative verification armband, said Banky, citing Dream Weekend data showing an infection rate of 0.002%. COVID-19 tests from 3 facilities, Omega Medical Services, MD Link, and Athena Medical, returned positivity results of 1%, the statement said. 721 persons reportedly received COVID negative verification armbands. In addition, another 200 negative COVID tests were submitted from various approved labs island-wide, and verification armbands were also issued, the organizers said. In addition, another 200 negative COVID tests were submitted from several approved labs. Oh, I said that already. Right. Medical professionals at the verification areas also verified 2,263 vaccinated and or Jam COVID approved individuals. These 2,263 were primarily visitors, the statement continued. The entire Dream Entertainment management staff were vaccinated and were tested post-event, the organizer said. We are all negative. Keep in mind that no one interacts with more people at Dream Weekend than our management and staff, the statement read. However, COVID-19 has an incubation period of up to 14 days with symptoms emerging in 5 to 7 days, the United States Center of Disease Control and Prevention has said. In the wake of the July 1 reopening of the entertainment sector, public health officials warned of the risk that parties would drive a new outbreak. Videos emerging from Dream Weekend parties showed largely maskless patrons flouting social distancing guidelines under the RMA, but Steve Morris, Westmoreland's chief public health inspector, appeared to have a more rose-tinted assessment of the party series, describing the conditions as fairly satisfactory. The organizers adhered to their proposed standards to ensure the COVID-19 protocols were met at all locations for the events. Man, I not read no more of this. Basically, Banky said them not nothing to do with it. Dream should have never get the go ahead to keep. There's a word in it, but watch out now, Colette's Kitchen. Hope you cook some good food around there. Watch it. You see, that is one, and being somebody who is very objective, I think I would think so. It is sometimes rough to kind of treat with some things, cause you know you go say some things I don't want people go say, you know, say your boy teach him a fool. Watch it. I am of the view, Colette's Kitchen, that Dream Weekend should have never keep. My personal views. No More Cafe should have never keep. Again, my personal views. No Sands should have never keep. My personal views. However, there are people on the other side of the discussion, Colette's Kitchen, that is saying, look, entertainers live and promoters live by staging events. And these people have been basically prevented from staging these events for over a year. And as such, they need to get a little reprieve. You see? Also, you see, we are focused on them 3 big events that they call them big events. You understand? But you and I know that many smaller events have been taking place here, there, and everywhere over the atmosphere. So it is not just these events and many underground right now the people them gone to headphone parties. None of you can't hear none of it, just be about to make nice. So the police don't even know what's that going. You understand what I say? So one side of the fence I say, no entertainment event shouldn't keep. Zine. And the next side I say, look here man, people that in entertainment have to survive too. So give us a break. So irrespective of how you look upon it, as I said, no matter what is done, people are going to say yeah over here, so people are going to say nay over there. So my views, I sat in this very chair and I said, looking in this very same camera, that we were going to be in trouble when the relaxation of the COVID measures were announced in March, in July, early July. I said at the time that we were walking on slippery slopes and the outcome may be very uncomfortable. Yeah? So, then you have a next side of the divide. Some of them people who are put on party because them youth are going to need to go back to school come September. How you going to send it? How you going to buy uniform and books and bag for your youth and pay a school fee? If I promote parties, we do that. So, no matter what is done, people are going, some people are going to agree with it and some people are going to disagree with it. It just rough. You understand? Could these parties have been held and there was more responsibility and less selfishness by the patrons? Very hard to say, because when you got a party and music hit you and you start drink, everything gone through the window. So it... But Colette, I hear you loud and clear, and I may be of the view that these, at least the major ones, should not have gone on. Because look, since Mocha Fest, the whole Hanover and Westmoreland break out in COVID, they ain't in a rocket science to see that. Since Dream Weekend, Westmoreland get worse and worse and worse. You don't need no glass. So no matter what bankier said, it is there for you to see. You understand? So him could then bring a million different sheet of paper with a million different words on it. It is clear to see. So these events were triggers. Zine, were these events the sole reason for the spike? Probably not. But to tell me that these events were not triggers, then move from here so. You understand? So the entertainers will tell us, look here, we didn't need it. The people that want to entertainment are going to say we never need it. So it depends on which side of the divide you depend. Zine, I am for crushing a situation than knowing, say, you have the situation to crush it, and you know, crush it and you make it get back some strength and fester and broke out in a sword. But that's just me. And it is easy for me to say that, not being responsible for an entire nation. See? I mean, yeah. It's rough. So I can move on to some other things that are going on here. And COVID, see, I start stream 8:15. Over 1 hour now, I'm saying about COVID. I'm tired. Alright, I could talk about some other things. The people that have water commission don't need to go pay on the bill. You understand? NWC is selling billions in debt to collection agency. So it means if you owe NWC, them is going to collect. Probably through somebody. Samba Reds, very good point. And as I said earlier, while I observe that there is an attempt of striking some balance, as leaders, you have to just make some decisions and make the chips fall where they may, and make some hard decisions. And you know, some private sector interests will probably be disappointed, and your backers them will probably upset. But at the end of the day, you do it for the greater good. So we said that long time. You understand? The man said, no COVID a keep. Other things a keep. Murder still a keep out here, you know. Watch it. You don't understand. But water commission thing, you know. I want to watch it thing. Can we talk about the dopey that killed the lady husband? No. It's a dopey story. You don't really do dopey story. I mean, you understand? I have not read the article. I saw it. I never really watch the news either, so I understand. But nah. NWC selling billions in debt to collection agencies. So basically, they must say, alright, we don't want to pay no bill. We are sending some people come collect with money. Watch it. The National Water Commission has announced plans to enter arrangements with a debt collection agency to recover more than $10 billion owed by delinquent customers. I want to know how much politicians who NWC. NWC President Mark Barnett on Thursday disclosed that $15 billion to $20 billion in unpaid bills will be packaged for sale. Responding to questions during a virtual media briefing on Thursday, Mr. Barnett said the collection would not target any specific customer class, but would include condominiums and commercial properties. He said the NWC has seen an increase in revenues in recent months based on the company's aggressive approach to collection. While I don't wish to give you any specific figure for fear that it may be misrepresented in terms of what it really is, we did see upwards of about 10% increase in our monthly revenues as a result of these drives that we are pursuing, he revealed. I want to pay people them for their water. You understand? Everybody, they're talking about just condominiums. Because politicians are living in condominiums. So them would zone some of them still. But I trust them, you know. See? Peter just say a COVID a keep. Peter, let me show you what else a keep in our dance. You understand? Murders climb 10% as clear-up rates plunges. Jamaica's homicide figures have increased by 9.7% year on year, while the clear-up rate for 2021 is at a 5-year low, 34.65%. As of Saturday, August 28, Jamaica's murder tally for 2021 had risen to 935 from the 852 for the corresponding period in 2020. However, only 324 of the murders were considered cleared, according to data from the Jamaica Constabulary Force. Although for them definition are clear, I not agree with it. For the corresponding period of 2020, some 44.7% of murders were cleared. The data revealed that in 2019, 2018, and 2017, the clear-up rate was 35.8, 36.29, and 38.86% respectively. Males remain the chief murder victims, with 855 cases up to last Saturday compared to 80 females. Also of note was the 200 adults over 45 years old who have been murdered and another 134 shot and injured since January. There were 18 children among those killed for the period. There has been a drop in arrests for murders in 2021, with 402 people being placed before the courts, 58 or 13% fewer when compared to the 416 in 2020. According to the data, illegal guns featured in 796 murders, up from 702 last year. There were also 72 fatal police shootings, a 70% increase over last year's figure. Yeah? Trelawney has overtaken Portland as the least murderous police division. Trelawney has recorded 9 murders so far, down from 14, whereas Portland recorded 12 homicides, up from 8. St. Andrew South continues to lead in murders with 116 cases, followed by St. James with 106 and Kingston Western with 84. Meanwhile, declines have been recorded in cases of rapes, aggravated assaults, robberies, and break-ins. Some 278 rapes have been recorded up to August 28 this year, down from 396 seen in the corresponding period last year. Aggravated assaults are down to 225 from 275. 512 robberies have been recorded compared to 720, and break-ins are at 593, down from 711. Nah. Tell the rest. I don't see nothing about Senti, bro God. Nothing like article about Senti, so I guess, in my estimation still, crime in St. Elizabeth is on the upward trend. I can tell you that unofficially. Policeman charged for a fatal shooting granted $500,000 bail. Police Corporal Damian Stewart, who is charged for the shooting deaths of 2 men at a car wash in Spanish Town, St. Catherine, has been granted $500,000 bail. Stewart was placed before the St. Catherine Parish Court today in relation to the killing of O'Neill Johnson and Ricardo Stewart on the 5th of March 2018 at the Real Deal car wash. He was ordered to return to court on the 11th of October when the case will be mentioned. Now, charges stemmed from an investigation by the Independent Commission of Investigations, INDICOM, and a ruling by the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. INDICOM says information received from the police is that on the day in question, a team of 5 police personnel were on mobile patrol along Spanish Town bypass when men exited from 2 vehicles and opened gunfire at the cops. The police allege that, in response, they fired in the direction of the men. After the exchange, 2 men were found suffering from gunshot wounds. They later died. INDICOM says eyewitnesses to the incident have refuted the police's accounts of the shooting. We'll keep an eye on it. Illegal gun and ammunition seized in St. Catherine. Woman arrested. The St. Catherine North Police are on Thursday arrested a woman in connection with the seizure of an illegal gun on the Damhead Main Road during a traffic stop. The police report that about 4:30 p.m., cops were carrying out a vehicular checkpoint operation along the roadway when the driver of a Toyota Hiace bus was signaled to stop. He complied. The vehicle was searched, and according to the police, a .38 revolver with 3 9mm rounds was found in a garbage bag belonging to the woman. She was taken into custody and is expected to be formally charged. Speaking about guns, 457 illegal guns have been seized since January 1. So the police have seized 455 illegal guns so far since the start of the year. These include 33 rifles, 10 submachine guns, 338 pistols, and 48 revolvers. The police also seized 6,366 assorted rounds of ammunition. Wanted men held by cops during snap raids. 2 wanted men were captured by the Specialized Operations Branch in separate operations in Kingston on Friday, August 27th. That was from last Friday. But just a seat, so I shared. One of the men, 25-year-old Javon Francis, otherwise called Killy, of Sharp Drive, Kingston, has since been charged for illegal possession of firearm and ammunition. Francis was arrested during an operation that was carried out at his home about 5 a.m. Now, according to reports, during the operation, a search was conducted and 1 Taurus 9mm pistol with 2 magazines containing 11 9mm rounds were found. Francis was arrested during processing, it was revealed that he was wanted for the murder of 36-year-old Conroy McCoy of Havana Drive in Kingston that was committed on Wednesday, January 6th. He was subsequently charged. His court date is being finalized. The team then conducted a raid at Bogle Pathway in Kingston, where 2 men were taken into custody. One of them, Trevor Dean, otherwise called Romaine of Whitehall in Kingston, is wanted for the St. Andrew North Criminal Investigation Branch on several counts of murder. The other man was processed and released. Investigations are ongoing. Yes, Rasta. We don't want no more bloodshed. We don't want no more youths dead. The Jamaica we will love, bring it back to what it was. Too much gangsters and thugs and AKs and slugs. News emerged during the week that a 15-year-old boy was chopped to death in Spanish Town. Now a suspect is in custody. Suspect in teens killing identified, let me say it that way. Lord, the in custody part of the situation. The St. Catherine North Police have identified 4 suspects in connection with Monday's murder of a 15-year-old schoolboy in Jones Avenue, Spanish Town, St. Catherine. Kevin Mackenzie, a student of Backlands, Jones Avenue, was shot and his head partially severed. The teenager was disposing garbage about 7:30 a.m. when he was killed. Deputy Superintendent Linroy Edwards, head of the operations for the St. Catherine North Police, said that the teenager was killed in reprisal for the murder of 23-year-old Jakari Wanda in the neighboring community of Shelter Rock on Sunday night. The security forces conducted operations in Spanish Town on Tuesday following a flare-up of violence in the area. Now, DSP Edwards, who led the operation, said a number of suspects, including 2 top-tier members of the Spanish Town-based Klansman gang, were detained. The 2 men were held in Quarry Hill. DSP Edwards disclosed that rounds of ammunition for high-powered rifles were seized at the home of one of the suspects. He said the operations were in response to gang violence in Shelter Rock, Lakes Pen, Quarry Hill, and Jones Avenue. The little Jamaica where we love, bring it back to what it was. Cabby killed in Kingston. The Kingston Eastern Police have launched a probe into the shooting death of a taxi operator on Mountain View Avenue, Kingston 2 on Tuesday. Dead is 34-year-old Andre Chambers, otherwise called Doctor, a resident of Mountain View Avenue. So the police report that Chambers was among a group of persons at home in his community when armed men allegedly opened gunfire at them. Chambers received multiple gunshot wounds to the upper body and was taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead. No one else was injured during the incident and no motive has been established for the killing. And the security forces are maintaining a close watch on the community. Something dropping on my eye now. Suspected hitman slapped with 4 murder charges. More could be coming. A suspected hitman has been charged with multiple murders that occurred in the Kingston Western Police Division. The suspect has been identified as Ethan Thompson, a 20-year-old laborer of Walkers Avenue in Gregory Park, Portmore, St. Catherine. Reports are that about 3:25 p.m. on Friday, January 15, 2021, Thompson was allegedly among a group of men who opened gunfire, killing Jermaine Lawson, otherwise called Flash, or Mark Nation, otherwise called, Flash, and Mark Nation, otherwise called Cool Face, and Anthony Barnett, otherwise called Little T, at the intersection of Lincoln Avenue and Russell Crescent in Kingston 5. So he was allegedly in that group that killed those 3 men. Thompson was shot and injured in the St. Andrew South Police Division on Sunday, August 15. Upon arrival at hospital, he reportedly gave his name as Andre Thompson of a Spanish Town Road, McCoy Lane, Kingston 13 address. However, early information received by investigators led them to the hospital, where Thompson was placed under police guard. Ellie, thanks so much for the contribution, sis. Really appreciate it. After being discharged, he was placed on an identification parade where he was pointed out. Following an interview with investigators, he was charged on Wednesday, September 1 by detectives assigned to the Major Investigations Division MID. The charges are 3 counts of murder and illegal possession of firearm. Thompson is to appear in the St. Andrew Parish Court on Thursday, September 16 to answer to the charges that have been laid against him. Additionally, he was charged by detectives from the Kingston Western Division with murder and illegal possession of firearm in relation to the Wednesday, May 6, 2021 shooting death of Patrick Dixon on Lincoln Road, Kingston. Reports are that Dixon was standing on the roadway when armed men alighted from a motor car and opened gunfire, hitting him. The court date for this matter has not yet been finalized. Now, detectives across multiple police divisions are now coordinating their efforts and information about multiple other killings, as Thompson is suspected to have figured in other murders. Cops and Indicom are probing the death of a guard in custody on murder charge. Oh, I never remember that picture there. Leroy Martin, the 56-year-old security guard who was accused of killing a woman and injuring 2 other females during a dispute over garbage in St. Ann in March of this year, has died in police custody. Martin, who has been remanded in custody since the time of his arrest, was reportedly found unresponsive in a cell at the Brownstone police station on Thursday. His death was later confirmed at hospital. The police, as well as the Independent Commission of Investigations, Indicom, are probing the development. It is understood that Martin's attorney had tried to have his client released on bail for health reasons, but the court did not accede to the request. Martin, otherwise known as Biggie, a resident of Carlton Mountain in St. Ann, was charged with the murder of Navajia Gray. He was also charged with 2 counts of wounding with intent, illegal possession of firearm, and illegal possession of ammunition, all stemming from the shooting of the 2 other persons during the garbage dispute in their community on Tuesday, March 2nd. It was reported that on the day in question, about 11 a.m., Martin and his neighbors, including Gray, got into a dispute over garbage that had been scattered by dogs belonging to the woman. The incident reportedly infuriated Martin, and an argument developed between him and Gray, along with other occupants of her household. Martin reportedly left the scene and returned with a gun, with which he opened fire, hitting Gray and the 2 others. He then fled the scene. The wounded persons were assisted to hospital where Gray died. The other persons were admitted for treatment. Martin was subsequently arrested and charged by the police. Well. Sometimes the best thing to say is to say nothing. I'll leave it at that. Probe on after off-duty cop fatally shoots man in St. Catherine. The Independent Commission of Investigations, Indicom, responded to and began investigations into the fatal shooting of an unidentified man in the vicinity of the Bogwa Gorge in Sligoville and Sligoville Main Road in St. Catherine on Saturday, August 28. I spoke about this on Sunday night, but the Indicom part kind of knew, by an off-duty police officer. So the police have reported that an off-duty officer became engaged in the pursuit of a Toyota Probox with 3 male occupants who allegedly stole cable wires. During the chase, the Toyota Probox collided with a vehicle traveling in the opposite direction. Indicom investigators were further informed that 2 of the occupants of the Probox ran from the incident scene, and at least one of the men is reported to have fired at the police officer. It is alleged that the third man approached and attacked the officer with a knife, causing him an injury. The officer reportedly fired at the man with a knife. This unidentified man was taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead. 2 persons from the other vehicle involved in the collision were treated for their injuries. Jaja. The incident scene was processed by Indicom, and the weapon of the officer, as well as the recovered knife, were boxed and sealed for testing. The hands of the deceased were swabbed for a gunshot residue, and no firearm was reported as recovered from the scene. An initial account of the incident was provided to Indicom investigators by the off-duty officer, and the officer was issued a Section 21 notice to furnish a statement and attend Indicom to be interviewed in relation to this incident. All initial accounts received by the Commission are recognized as preliminary information and will undergo the requisite investigative and forensic examination. Indicom said the assistance of the public is also important, and persons are therefore reminded to contact the Commission and share any information that will be useful in ongoing investigations. Two brutal female deaths recorded in St. Ann on Thursday. 2 females were killed or found dead in brutal circumstances in St. Ann on Thursday of this week. In the first case, 54-year-old Justina Atkinson Price, a farmer of Fort George district in the parish, was found dead at her home. Reports from the Claremont police are that at about 7:15 a.m., a resident made checks on Atkinson Price after family members were unable to reach her. Her body was discovered inside her house and the police were summoned. On the arrival of law enforcers, she was observed with her throat slashed. The scene was processed and the body was removed to the morgue. Investigations are ongoing into the development. And the 24-year-old Shani Keynes, otherwise called Shan, a bartender of Lewis District in St. Ann, was shot and killed by unknown assailants at her home also on Thursday. Reports from the St. Annsville police are that about 9:20 p.m., Haynes and other family members were at home when armed men gained entry to her house. But I say home and house same time. To her house and opened gunfire, hitting her before making their escape. The police were summoned and on their arrival, Haynes was seen with multiple gunshot wounds. She was taken to hospital where she was pronounced dead. The investigation are also ongoing into the murder. We don't want no more bloodshed. We don't want no more youths dead. Man killed. Girlfriend injured in Central Village shooting. The little Jamaica we will love, bring it back to what it was. Gunmen struck in Central Village, St. Catherine on Thursday morning, leaving a man dead and his girlfriend battling for life. The St. Catherine South Police reported at about 6 a.m., 28-year-old bartender Kawane Finley and his companion were at home in Windsor Heights when 15 men, some of whom were armed with rifles, entered and shot them several times. The injured couple was taken to hospital where Mr. Finley was pronounced dead. There have been a series of deadly attacks in Central Village over the last week. A man was killed in the area 2 days ago. Soldier Ricketts, big up yourself in a youth. Cold-blooded killing. Man charged with senior's murder for money. Investigators from the Manchester Police Division have arrested and charged a man with the murder of 67-year-old Dwayne Wallace, otherwise called Jackie Wallace, of Christiana in the parish on May 31st. Charged is 29-year-old Ricardo Kennedy, otherwise called Ricky, of Dobson District in Coleyville, Christiana, Manchester. Reports are that on May 30, Wallace and Kennedy were at a bar in the area when Wallace spoke about a quantity of cash that he had. A day later, Wallace's home was ransacked and his body later found with multiple stab wounds. The police were summoned to the scene of the crime, which was processed and the body removed to the morgue. On Wednesday, August 11, Kennedy was arrested after being allegedly found in possession of a cellular phone that belonged to Wallace. Kennedy was charged on Wednesday, September 1st. A date for his appearance in court is being finalized. Bar talk, rum talk. So it's like, two of them must be a bar a drink, and one man say, yo, me have some money in my yard. And that was it.
What should I know can they represent for teach them? Oh no, we don't want no more bloodshed. We don't want no more youth dead. They look at Jamaica where we love, bring it back to what it was. Too much gangsters and thugs and AKs and slugs. Hey, take a look at the rainbow. Let your sorrows and pain go. You can't make life and no still a take life. Say you a murderer, one day you must pay the price. Life is so hard. Every day we see ghosts. You gotta live it up right. Are you wicked? Condom. If it's not by police, by gunman. That's the way it goes. Living in a ghetto region. Teach them, don't in the ghetto where we born and grow. No, daddy, I just mother one we know. Every day she said, teacher, protect your life. Vampires and bloodsuckers walk day and night. Them say my friend, them are no friend. Make the right choice. And make sure you listen to your mama advice. Now this, teach them because you're walking with your crew. You make me want that prayer straight lightning for you. But if you this way, you can get wet. That's alright because I love teach them chant every day and night. So watch out. We don't want no more bloodshed. Teach them, entertain them, educate them, and beyond this.
We don't want no more youths dead. Look at Jamaica, we will do. Bring it back to what it was. Too much gangsters and thugs and AKs and slugs. Hey, take a look at them. Jaja. Man who entered US illegally from Jamaica gets 20 years for sodomy. Gandhi trim long time, sister. Interview coming soon. Make some space in your bedroom, well, living room. Anyway, you watch it. I don't know where you watch it. I want to the lighter. The lighter just dead, so. That's what me and I. Oh crap, you think nobody plug in all along. Man say man favor Kanye West. I don't know why that be laughing. Jaja. A man who went to the United States illegally from Jamaica has been sentenced to 20 years of prison time after admitting to sodomizing an underage girl in Dothan, Alabama, USA. Dothan, I'm not sure the pronunciation. Emenki Downey or Emeniki or Eminique, I don't know how to pronounce his name. I pronounce it one type, you write it and spell it one type of way. Yes, so may I say it, Eminique Downey pleaded guilty to a count of sodomy last week and was sentenced shortly after, according to WTV-wide news in the US. It is alleged that Downey molested a girl who is between the age of 12 and 16 years. Additionally, prosecutors claim that he knew the victim prior to the reported abuse. Further details on the case were not provided, but it was disclosed that Downey came to the US illegally from Jamaica prior to his conviction. 20 years. I mean, I know I'm to Downey because same man out there said Downey look like Kanye West. I pray enough girl could have seen him and game. You see it? And the man sodomized the teen. Alright. Down in the ghetto we born and grow. On screen is Jamaica National Junior Shot Put record holder Kevin Nedrick. He was arrested and charged for allegedly committing sexual assault against a female in the United States where he's on scholarship. He has been freed of all sexual assault charges. Jamaican national junior record holder Kevin Nedrick has been freed of rape charges by a jury in the Hennepin County District Court in Minnesota, US. Hennepin. The 22-year-old was acquitted today of a charge that he sexually assaulted another student at a birthday party near campus in August of 2020. The former Petersfield High student, who would have been a senior at the University of Minnesota last season, was suspended from the team after he was charged in the Hennepin County with third-degree criminal sexual assault conduct, that is. According to a story from the Star Tribune, both he and the alleged victim testified in a trial that began Tuesday before the Hennepin District Judge J. Quam. Closing arguments were made Thursday afternoon. The report said Nedrick, a shot putter, cried when the verdict was read Friday. He had testified that the alleged victim was hitting on him before the encounter and broke down on the stand when he talked about the trial accusation. I worked all my life to go here, and it can be taken in a moment for something I did not do, he was quoted to have said. The alleged victim testified, saying Nedrick had overpowered her, pushed her into her bedroom, kissed her neck, and penetrated her with his finger after she had told him to stop multiple times during a 10 to 15 minute encounter. The alleged attack occurred at the apartment where the party was held. I am pleased at this outcome, I must say, for the sake of young Kevin, and I also hope that other Jamaicans young Jamaicans who are abroad on scholarships, please use this as a teaching moment. You understand? Please. I beg of thee. Down in the ghetto, we born and grow. As a mother of an athlete, I always warn my son to be extremely careful of these young females because this do happen quite often. Good advice. This is why I love the big woman. 876 bro God need a modern girl with a old-fashioned kind of loving to put him to bed at night and wake him up at morning. He need a girl with true loving. He need a girl with sweet romancing. You want the one up on the screen, my G? You see like a big woman them, you know? That one you available, you know? We have a link. You understand? We have a link, man. If you want it, you got it. Just make sure you're not in the house or sell. Else your life is going to become hell. Yeah. Oh boy. Auntie Jennifer, Messado's bail extended. Disbarred lawyer Jennifer Messado, who is accused of using fraudulent documents to obtain a $16 million loan from a businessman in 2018, is to return to the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court on December 9th. Yeah? The 71-year-old, who is facing 12 counts of forgery and 4 counts of obtaining money by forged documents, allegedly got 2 loans from the complainant in the amount of $4 million and US $65,000. In June, when the matter was first mentioned, Messado signed a document indicating that she was willing to repay the complainant's money. However, in July when she returned to court, her attorney Christopher Townsend reported that his client and the complainant had a civil lawsuit with the Supreme Court with respect to the US $65,000 that had been borrowed that Messado had paid over, and that Messado had paid over $71,441 to the complainant via 2 checks following a judgment in the complainant's favor. Townsend had explained then that the money included the sum that was borrowed plus interest, but the court had ruled that the interest that the complainant was seeking on the borrowed sum was unlawful. Senior Parish Judge Lorian Cole Montague, who was hearing about the civil matter for the first time, then rescheduled the matter for a mention on September 2, which is yesterday, for the court to be informed whether the monies that were paid over to the complainant in a civil suit in the Supreme Court related to the $16 million sum in the parish court for which Messado is charged. Me tired. Consequently, yesterday when the matter was mentioned, Townsend informed the court that the sums that were paid over were in connection with this case and that the monies had been paid in full. A new mention date was subsequently scheduled for December and also for the case file to be completed. Messado's bail was also extended. According to allegations, the accused allegedly tendered an undated promissory note signed by 2 of her clients for a loan of $4 million. It is further alleged that she applied for a loan on behalf of Sonada Limited, a company in which she and her husband are directors. The complainant was reportedly told that the loan would be repaid from the sale of the company's shares. It is said that the complainant handed over the funds, but it was later discovered that the shares in Sonada Limited had been sold in 2010. The matter was subsequently reported to the police after efforts by the complainant to recoup the money failed. In the meantime, Townsend said that his client, who has about 13 other fraud matters in the parish court, is at an advanced state of settlement with most of the complainants. She pay a gully yet. I don't know any brother. I couldn't tell you. I don't know. You understand? Yes, Rasta Judge. Me lose count all the cases that my Messado have in front of your courts, Rasta. Me lose count. You understand? If I count me that count in case of a survive, me then dead for hungry. Because me lose count. Auntie Jennifer, man. Auntie Jennifer. Auntie Jen and our friends. She borrow money but she not have none for lend. Is she insane or something? Warrant issued for Popcaan's arrest after artist miss court. A bench warrant has been issued for the arrest of dancehall artist Popcaan after he failed to show in the Yallas traffic court in St. Thomas on Thursday. However, the warrant was stayed until November 4th, when the artist is next to appear in court. If he fails to show up for the latest court date, the warrant for his arrest will be executed. Popcaan last appeared in court on June 3 when he pleaded not guilty to a slew of traffic charges including operating an unlicensed motor vehicle, driving without insurance or fitness, no fixed registration plate, driving without a helmet, and careless driving. Popcaan is represented by Matthew Hyatt. The 32-year-old artist, whose real name is Andre Sutherland, was charged in late April after the police intercepted his 9-vehicle convoy in St. Thomas. Vibes Kartel gets first dose of AstraZeneca vaccine. By the way, which artist cars get seized the other day. I don't know when I come. More time I can't even follow up all of them sitting here. You see? But I'm sure probably if that happens, somebody in the comment section knows. Nationwide News understands that incarcerated dancehall star Vibes Kartel received the COVID-19 vaccine on Friday. Kartel was inoculated with the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine. The artist, who is serving a life sentence for murder, is currently being held at the Maximum Security Horizon Remand Center. Kartel's given name is Ajija Zimbabwe. You know that. Approximately 334 inmates were vaccinated on Friday, and Kartel was the first of 29 inmates at Horizon to receive the jab. Johnson & Johnson vaccine were also administered to some inmates. And there remains a high COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy rate in the nation's prisons and lockups, with a majority of inmates reportedly declining the opportunity to take the jab. It would be interesting to see what is the reaction of some in the entertainment sector, as I am certain that some people will say that the teacher sell out. You understand? I remember when Killer did say man take a vaccine, a bug of people running. You see? So I guess probably how COVID even reach a jail. What you mean? Then you have correctional officers who got in yard and go back and visitors and then sitting there, brother. You see me? And thing and food going and clothes going and other things going. So the possibility is there, man. It would also be interesting to see if the quote unquote Gaza nation follow suit, seeing that their leaders taken the jab. I'm not surprised because I know that his lawyer in recent times had said that Kartel was ready and willing to take the vaccine. So I guess he's a man of his word. Never even know them get visit. Me never go yet either, brother, but me does know so them get visit sometimes. So, Adi get him first job and thing, and you know what I mean? I suppose he will now probably have a few people who were probably hesitant before deciding to take it and thing, and I'm certain that some people will burn him out too. You know anything set up. You understand? I guess some of the Rasta man them really know. It's interesting. You see me? So that go on. So 234 inmates received their first dose, and it says that Kartel was the first of 29 inmates at Horizon. So I guess the teacher lead out. You understand? And these things. Interesting. God save the queen. You know what I think? Yeah, man. There was a jailbreak out of Port Royal, 3-man escape, wanted for various things. You see me, I have not heard anything about their recapture yet. So we're watching that space. Some other things going on, and I done my script done enough, so I just have to talk about some other things I done before my cut. You understand? Livity turned himself into the police yesterday, accompanied by his lawyer, Peter Champini. He will be questioned subsequently and thing. You know, the police had released his name among 14 people who they said were persons of interest in relation to murders and shooting incidents in West Kingston. So that the whole oxygen situation was helped, but there has been a little thing between IGL and the government and procurement and planning and them something, you know. Some things. What else go on about here? So many things go on about here. We just want to talk about some things and these things. So peeps, big up on yourself, you know. We'll call it this so. And thing. Yeah. The deed is done. On the streaming train again. This is my most consistent spell for a while now. I was even going to stream Wednesday night, you know. But I was going Wednesday night again. Oh, I was doing some stuff around the house. Zane, and I just get caught up in it, and then I never remember to set up a stream, and then I never bother do it because it's kind of too late and things, so I never bother stream. But yeah, I kind of get the streaming vibe. So I'll see you on Sunday. Hopefully we have some much improved things to talk about. Some fewer deaths, fewer positive cases, fewer murders, fewer shootings, some positive things, some things. I would appreciate it. You understand? You see the murder story, them I just run through them. Sunday, I stream on Sunday. What you mean is that I stream Friday night and Sunday night generally. From ever since. I don't know nothing new. Yes, stream Sunday because I want to see Sizzler fan. I have a thing for Sizzler, for Empress Benita. Bro, God, nah drop no catch. Make your link, man. You never know, you know. Circle, man. You understand? Introduce yourself, man. Peeps. Me never retire, man. I was just, brother. You say burnout is a real thing. I can tell you that for a fact. See? I sometimes sit down and wonder how I have been doing this teaching thing and this channel thing so consistently for so long. You understand? I was really exhausted. More mentally than physically. You see? 876, I want the wedding contract. I ask man, my camera there ready, man. Ready. Me I can recommend venues soon. I was suffering from burnout. You understand? I mean, people are saying, but people don't understand how much work goes on behind the scene. You see me, especially with the whole interview thing. Especially with the streaming thing. It takes a lot out of you to sit down and chat 3-4 hours, 2-3 hours, 3.5 hours sometimes. It's just that I enjoy doing it. See, but I was really tired. You understand? And I had relocated earlier in the year as well. And that was, took a while for kind of settle back in and them something. See, plus, treating with my family. My daughter was here for the entire month of July. You understand? And things. So, what heap of little things, man. But we're there, yeah. You see me? But burnout is real, man. Trust me. So sometimes you have to just step back and just, decompress. And, there were some days when I planned for stream and it just never happened. I was just exhausted, like, really. You understand? So I just took some rest and, we're there again, man. We're there. See, even if I stream them on a 2 hour, 2.5, 3 hour every day, we're there. You understand? So, peeps, big up on yourself, Art of Love. Big up to the people that went at the Poddy Roots premiere on Tuesday. You understand? The man sing from here to heaven, man. You understand? And big up to the people that were never in at the premiere but watch it. Big up to the people that want to watch it that don't need to go watch it. Tuesday. I bet you never heard of it. You understand? Miss and Ram once spent on the man's corner. You know what, brother? I'm not even remember the match was on. I watch the replay today. You understand? Remember I said for one time, say Jamaica need a coach. And I will never take that back. Whitmore has taken us as far as he is able to. But with the talent pool that we have, now we should qualify for the World Cup. You understand? And anything else will be a massive failure. See, we were not at full strength because the English-based players were not able to go to Mexico. So I guess they will be available for the Panama game and thing. But even so, the youth them just play ball. There's no structure, no system of play. The youth them just play ball and play with heart. Yes, they did well to nullify Mexico in the first half. But and whilst Tappers had successes, especially in the Gold Cup in recent times, as I say, he has taken us as far as he can. We need somebody who is more technically astute, Zane, somebody with, a greater appreciation for systems of play and better utilizing the talents that we have, Zane. And, we need a coach. That is my view. We need a coach. There's no issue with keeping Whitmore in the program. You understand? Get some more experience. But for now, we need somebody who has more experience and a track record of success. You understand? And thing. But the league have a tight, man. The league, any side between United, City, Chelsea and Liverpool has the squad and the potential for win the league. I think what makes us United is the quality of their manager. I still think as an elite club you need an elite manager, but that's just me again still. And then something. But yeah, I guess my views on the football kind of different from some man views still. Enough man rate Ali. I can't rate Ali as no elite coach. Ali is an okay coach, not Manchester United type coach. Just like all Lamps, as much as he's a club legend, he's not a Chelsea level coach yet. You understand? But we have a good squad. I'm sorry that we never get Kunde. But we have a solid squad. We have an elite manager. We have a group of youths who are hungry. A nice mix of youth and experience. Liverpool is almost back to full fitness. Always a dangerous team. City, I still think they're lacking a centre forward. And United, I think there may be some issues with integrating CR7 at the side. Because we have to play. You have to play him up front. But that means you have to drop Bruno Fernandes and Paul Pogba in the middle. I don't know that Bruno and Paul are the best match in the middle, whether with Fred or with Matic. So I don't know. So we make a watch and see. You understand? It was nice. You understand? Red card was rough the other day. Penalty, yes. I think it was a little bit harsh, really, red card. That kind of changed the game, but they youth them fight for 45-50 minutes and we give thanks to the point. You understand? And a point away from home is always a good result. But I think with 11 on the field, we had all opportunity to win the game. But make we say a thing. United, we stand. Alright, make we say that now, man. Peeps, big up on yourself. Soon on Sunday. You understand? And we talk some more. And thing. World Cup qualification continues. See, I think Brazil playing Argentina a Sunday? Saturday or Sunday. One of them day there. So make we watch. That should be fun. See, in Argentina, the last laugh in the Copa final. I saw my side up too. You understand what I say? And thing. My side still a lead qualification in South America. By a good local distance. Unbeaten. I think they're on 21 points from 7 games. See? So I could watch and see Argentina beat Venezuela 3-1, I think. So, I go and watch something. So I never get to watch a Jamaica match live. I watch it today. And think. I'm not even remember say it and still. You see me? So, peeps. Sunday. Walk good. Enjoy your weekend. Be careful. Stay safe. Protect yourself. Protect your family. And give thanks every day. You understand? For the people that mean something to you, make them know they mean something to you. Because right now, anything possible. Walk good. Step with Jah. Safe travel upon the gravel. I'm out. Hope you ask round that boy rims them. We ask Ron Star everything, man. Don't worry about it, man. Everything good, man. As a matter of fact, I think that interview will be part 1 and part 2. Part 1 Monday, part 2 Tuesday. It was a long interview. You understand? We talk about everything, man. Peeps. Look over here. I'm out.
Thank you for tuning in. Like the stream before you go. Subscribe if you haven't done so. Remember to share the stream with your family and friends and browse the channel for more amazing content. Until next time, walk good, my friends.
Teach them. Hey, yo, hello. Send the message and make it reach them. It's teach them right here. Warlord representing.